Slotnick.
When did you send that email?
I sent it by email.
When?
Within the last couple of weeks.
No, I did not.
I want to get you guys together. I'm sure you'd have a lot
I'd love
talk
to,
about.
yeah, great,
okay.
beautiful, thanks. Okay, we got a quorum, ready to rock and roll. Okay, I think we're ready. I want to apologize everybody for being late.
Yes, they are. We're live.
I would like to wish a Happy New Year to everybody. And Mayor Feinstein, would you lead us in the pledge for the first time?
Certainly. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Bishop, want to call the roll? Call the meeting to order?
Okay, sure. January 18th, Rye-Town Park Commission meeting. And I will tell you, I know Pilla has a special meeting.
Mayor, he's got it, yeah.
Mayor Pilla will not be here today. So we have Commissioner Sack.
Here.
Commissioner Feinstein.
Here.
Commissioner French.
Yep.
Commissioner Salanitro.
Here.
Commissioner Carvin.
Here. Okay, I see we have notes from the Rye-Town Park Commission meeting. I don't think that was not an official meeting,
No,
so
that's
they'll
just
need to be
information for you.
approved, right? But we
Not
do.
everybody was at the meeting.
Yep, but the Rye-Town meeting from November 16th, I don't think we approved those notes.
That's correct.
Those meeting minutes. Can I get a motion? Any questions or comments on the
I just have
meeting
some,
minutes from the?
have some typos.
Typos. Would you share those with?
Yeah, I will certainly,
Yep.
yeah.
Wonderful, thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes with Mayor Feinstein's
Typos.
typo corrections?
So moved.
Okay.
Second?
Okay. Sack.
Yes.
Feinstein.
Yes.
French.
Yes.
Salanitro.
Yes.
Carvin.
Yes.
I'm
Great.
going to give you these before I
Thank you
forget.
so much.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Mr. Nowotnik, let me hand those to you.
As amended.
Thank you. Okay, do you want to update us, Mr. Nowotnik, on the RFP process?
Okay.
We've got RFPs in our packages. I understand you met with some vendors.
Yeah, we'll do a quick 1-2 here. We sent the RFP packet out. If you see the RFP packet that you have, it was sent out a few weeks ago. We scheduled we want to call it a bidders meeting, not so much a bidders meeting, but a responders meeting on January 4th. Let me reel it back first. We mailed out to 253 companies by mail, and we put ads in the Journal News and the Westmore News. Additionally, other people picked it up along the way. There are other types of things. There's a parking management magazine that picked up the RFP and further publicized it. The January 4th meeting, we had 10 people there. 8 companies were represented at that meeting. A couple of them obviously brought 2 along. They ran a full specter of people who are hardware-oriented people. That means either gates or registers or parking kiosks, those kinds of things. All the way to, there was one company there that was much more interested in managing the parking operation, meaning they would have, the employees would work for them, et cetera. I don't know quite how that arrangement is going to come in, but they're certainly interested in making a proposal.
Bishop, there was 2 things. Are you done?
Well, one more issue that I wanted to bring up, actually 2, I think, is we did receive a request, which I think I forwarded to the commissioners, about the possibility of extending the timeline. One company just felt that there just wasn't enough time to respond. And then we received a second bit of information. We actually received a contract proposal from a parking consultant who I think may be in the room. Yeah, he raised his hand. But that's your call. That was the CapTech Consulting. So he's not a bidder, but he does work for things like the MTA and things like that. Revenue collection work, meaning the kiosks that they have at the railroad stations, those kinds of things.
I would be in favor of extending. I know we got an inquiry today about someone that hasn't put forth an RFP or a bid that may be interested. So I think if we've got the time, I would be in favor of extending it.
I'm not sure what the right cycle would be, but what you're talking about here is probably, we'd have to add 3 weeks. One of the things that we would have to do officially is we would have to notify all the people, the 15 people that actually picked up packets. We would have to notify them that there's been an extension.
Wouldn't you have to renotice the entire thing besides that?
I'm not so sure we have to notice it.
I'm not sure either, but you'd have to speak to council about that.
Okay.
My feeling on this is normally I'd say fine to extend, but one of the issues that we're dealing with is we wanted to try to implement this by this season. So the longer that we delay, we're talking about now we have a deadline of January 25th. If you extend 3 more weeks, then you need time to review the proposals, to go back and forth. If you come back to this board, make a final determination, enter into an agreement, and my concern is timing. Not that I wouldn't want to do it, but you may just lose the season.
Well, my thoughts are, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I kind of agree with both Mayor French and Mayor Feinstein. However, here's the irony. The irony is it's going to require an investment of money to do this. And, we're going to talk about the budget numbers in a little bit, but quite frankly, I don't see where we have the money to do this anymore. You need to spend money to save money, but unfortunately, times are so strapped right now, I don't see us being able to come up with this money anyway. So, it's something that we're going to have to deal with. Perhaps we can extend it. Maybe there's a compromise. Instead of 3 weeks, maybe we can extend it by 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and still be on time.
I definitely want to have, if we extend it, I definitely want to have it ready for the next meeting, which is why I'm opening this to look at my calendar, because I think we'll just try and move forward for the next meeting right now rather than have the full year calendar. But I know the third,
15th, right?
well, the third Tuesday exactly, but that falls in, I think it's in the kids'
It is.
I thought it was the following week.
It's the 22nd.
that was the week of the 22nd.
The 22nd,
Wait, first, the 8th and the 15th.
Okay.
February 15th would be the next meeting
That's
date.
right. No,
Okay,
that's
all
right.
right, so, okay,
And the
fine.
week, I thought the holiday was the following week.
It is.
No, you're right, so I
You're
thought
right.
it was the third Tuesday was in the following week, so perfect. Well, that's a great date, because that is the day that I become 39 yet again.
We'll have a cake.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, so why can't we simply extend it by a week or two? Why do we have to extend it for 3 weeks?
My feeling is that anybody fresh, anybody brand new that might come in as a
Well, I
result
don't
of the
think you can.
extension.
No, I don't think. I wouldn't expect that you'd allow new bidders to come in. I think you simply.
Yeah, I would agree.
You have the existing bidders, and you simply let them know there's.
I'm
another
fine with 2
weeks.
weeks. If Paul Noto, agrees, we can just, simply extend with notification to those.
What's the current date?
25th, January 25th.
Any bids that you receive just have to be held closed.
Right.
Sealed, obviously.
We don't want to
with the
get,
clerk.
if the next meeting's the 15th, I think we want to get in no later than like the, 8th or 10th, right?
Well, the subcommittee's got to meet first
Well,
anyway. to
we'll add
review it,
two-
right, Joe?
Yeah, exactly.
So
We'll
have
add
to
2
vote.
weeks to 25th, whatever that date is, that's the
That'd
date.
be the 8th.
I'll know
Yeah.
it's going to be with the
Yeah.
parking committee.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right.
Is the board, is that, we happy with that? Extending it for 2 weeks?
No, but-
But the likelihood is, but Mayor Feinstein, just on your point, I mean, there is a strong likelihood that this process will take us well beyond our expectations, initial
Yeah.
expectations of doing anything this season anyway. I mean, it's very complex. It can be complex. It all depends on how it gets reviewed by the subcommittee with the ad hoc committee that was formed, because there's a lot of complexities to this issue. We may need guidance, is what I'm getting at. I don't want to rush this.
And I
But
think-
another week or two, whatever, that doesn't really
No,
amount to much.
I agree with you. My just disappointment is the fact that I've always been in favor of having an automated
absolutely.
mechanism at the park, and I just would be dismayed that another season
No,
would
I
go
don't,
by.
well, actually, let's.
That's all. That's one of the reason why I wasn't
I
in
know we
favor
were
of
approached by
extending.
one bidder that wanted to, did he give you, I mean, what,
No, not a bidder.
a participant?
One of the participants in the meeting was a parking consultant who has submitted a contract proposal, which you have in your packets. That's the packet there. That's
Right.
Jim.
I understand that, but I'm talking about, I thought one of the participants in the process had requested a delay.
Yes.
Extension.
Yes,
Extension.
that's correct.
And did he give you, did that person give you some sense of how long they would need additional?
No. I offered them that, I could not give them the delay. The delay would have to be done, provided by the commission. I invited him to come to this meeting. I don't know, frankly, where his company is or resides. I mean, we've got some bidders that are
Well, I think
California.
the thing is I'm actually can't wait to see the results of the RFP, because I think we can get a range of proposals, and I think we will need some time
Definitely.
to evaluate them. So, Commissioner Salnitra, I agree with you. I want to make sure that we have sufficient time. Does 1 week give, you think, the subcommittee? You're on
I'm on the subcommittee, yeah.
Does that give you enough time, do you think?
I think
I mean, if
we
need to
can,
make
we
it,
can, we can try to make it, but there, I don't want to raise anyone's hopes, because there might be, the outcome may be, like I initially stated at our preview meeting, that this may be a stepping stone to really figure out what we want. I don't think we really know what we want, or can afford to do, for that matter.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a lot more questions that are derived from the process than answers.
Some of the people had indicated that we probably should have called this an RFI rather than an RFP.
I would agree with that.
Because they felt that the wording was so broad that the proposals that came in would not necessarily be comparable. You're talking about, on one end, somebody wants to manage the facility or manage the park, take over the employees, those kinds of things. And on the other side, you're talking about people that are simply interested in pushing 3, 4, 5 pieces of hardware that they feel will help improve the situation.
But a lot of the hardware has to be, I'll use the word manipulated, because it has to suit our needs. So it's not off the shelf. It can be off the shelf.
All this hardware has to be integrated into the cashiering system in
And
some
think about
fashion.
that.
Yes.
There's big bucks in there. What did we budget for this, by the way? Was there a budget number given to anybody on this?
No. The ad hoc committee had come up with something like about 125,000. I think those were some of the preliminary proposals.
Numbers, okay.
So, that's probably the kind of number that you're going to see.
Okay.
I've heard other people say that's nowhere near enough.
Right.
So, again, the types of proposals that are going to come in, I think, can vary from huge capital expense to relatively little capital expense. We just don't know what's going to come in.
Isn't it plausible that someone can come in and say, I'll just manage it without changing the physical infrastructure?
Well, there was one company there that seemed to lean in that direction, and all the questions that they asked were questions about our labor, questions about the number of staff in each position, in each area, et cetera, the seasonality of the business, and so forth. So they seemed much more into, how do we manage this? Can we, in fact, come up with a management program, as opposed to hardware? There were other people at the meeting that talked nothing but hardware. That was what they were doing, and/or software.
Joe, if I may,
Please.
I would also say, though, from my point of view, this must be done, and the sooner the better. And it sounds like, Mayor Feinstein, you are more in line with that sentiment. Certainly, Commissioner Salnitra, I think that it should be done right. My main concern, that I was dismayed by, was simply that we're not going to have the money to do it.
Affordability, yeah.
Which really is extremely frustrating. But we can address that later in the meeting, I guess.
Absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
does it make sense to try and, we could, the Friday before the 8th is February 4th. Does that give you more time?
Let me put it this way. Looking at it as a whole, we have one person requesting an extension of time. We've got 10 participants, whatever scale they may be from. So we don't have a majority of people looking for an extension. I believe that if it's good enough for 9 of those people to put something in, it's good enough for 9 of those people. If there's one person straggling,
right.
And I don't want to get complicated. I think Mayor Feinstein is correct. I think you do have to notice, unless you explicitly stated that the pre-bid meeting was mandatory and that you would not accept any bids if you weren't at the meeting, then you do have to notice everybody you sent it out to, or do the whole public thing over again. So I think that in the interest of brevity, we put one extra week, stay
January 25th.
January 25th. That's just my feeling.
If the bids come in and they're not adequate
and you feel as if the fact that there was a paucity of people responding, because you don't know how many are actually going to respond to the RFP,
Right.
then you do have the ability to reject them all and start all
Correct.
over again. It's not the best thing, but I agree. One particular vendor, they asked for more time. You never even know whether or not they're going to respond. Just because they've asked for it doesn't even
Yeah.
mean that they're going to actually respond.
Exactly.
So